Hello and welcome to Two Guys One Room once again. Welcome to episode 2. This is Robert,
And this is Jake.
and we are back to bring you better quality topics, I should say.
Yeah, I think last time we jumped too much into topics before kind of giving an introduction of who we are and whatnot. And really, what we just want to do with this podcast is just put a microphone in front of us and just talk like we would without a microphone.
Yeah, I think that's really the biggest thing that we need to do. I felt like we forced a little bit too many topics, and we forced ourselves to talk about things that probably, for our podcast style that we're thinking of in our head,
Yeah,
isn't what we were.
what we had in mind.
Yeah. That's the best way to put it.
And we also have a nifty new microphone that we got from a website not many people know about. It's called Amazon. So we're going to try that out on the next episode and kind of give you better quality. We're working on it day by day.
Yeah, we were going to use it for this episode, but we decided to probably be a lot easier with two instead of one, just to make things a little more simpler. We don't have to kiss each other.
Yeah, which was awkward because it did almost happen.
It did happen.
It did, but I didn't want to publicly come out with it. But since he is and he's proud of it,
We
so
are
am I.
homosexuals
Not quite. We're married men with
to each
women.
other.
Yes.
But anyways, I made a TikTok yesterday.
Yes, you did, and it's fantastic, and you all should go check it out. And I also want to make it known that we have a new marketer we hired for the podcast, and her name is Millie. Robert and his wife, Megan, were so kind to adopt her from me and my wife, Adela. Her name is Millie, as I said. We posted a picture of her on our Instagram, and she'll be on TikTok very soon. So go check her out.
Yeah, she's
She's very beautiful.
yes, we're using child labor.
Yes.
But so speaking of labor, was it Target? I think it was. It's using janitors, robotic janitors, or what was it?
Sam's Club is putting robot janitors in all of its stores during the pandemic.
Imagine a fucking Terminator janitor.
Like, I'm wondering, like, what if a robot gets upset when the boss programs them to go clean something they don't want to go clean? Like, what if they have to go clean the toilet for the
He
day?
has a broomstick on his ass.
Right?
There's a fucking fit.
And these things look like cats. You gotta look these things up.
Oh, they do look like cats.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm gonna put a picture of that up there. Take a screenshot of that.
Yeah. We'll
We'll take a
post a
picture of
picture on our outlets, so go check that out.
Well, I'll just put it on the YouTube video. Which, speaking of YouTube, this is going to be up on YouTube after Spotify and Anchor. So if you want to catch these episodes just a couple days earlier, you can watch them on Spotify or Anchor. Not watch them, I guess listen, because they're not video platforms. But
Yeah.
yeah, we do have a Spotify now. We have everything set up. I'm working on getting iTunes and Apple Podcast because I don't have an Apple. I have an Android, so I think
This guy.
that's gonna be Jake's
Yeah.
forte there.
So we're working on that, getting those uploaded, and you guys will be the first to know once that uploaded. But enough of the technical stuff. Let's get. I feel like we didn't say enough about the robots.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, I feel like so they said they think in today's market with employees, and they think it's more of a cost-effective method is to have robots on their
Roblox.
force.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it being more cost effective, but
Yeah,
you don't get the like. If I walk up to somebody like a janitor at the store, they typically know where shit is too. I can't walk up to a fucking cat robot and be like, "Hey, what up, homie?"
because he might kill you.
Yeah, you never know. Robots are wild.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it makes sense on a business strategy, but and people's complaints would probably be it takes people out of work. But I don't think a lot of people, you know,
I guess it's a low what do you call it?
it's a low paying job. But also, I feel like a
Low
lot.
desire.
Yeah,
too.
right now it's hard to find people to work because of how high the employment pay is. So
Mhm.
I mean, it makes sense, but
Well, hell, um,
so I feel like I was getting a little political there. So we'll stray away from that. It's hard not
politics.
to.
It's hard for us because we're kind of politically driven people, I guess, in a certain aspect of ourselves because we kind of do have similar views, but at the same time we have different views on things.
Which I think makes it fun and makes our friendship exciting because it'd be kind of boring if we thought the same exact way on everything. And
Sorry, I'm just looking this up. Um, the Tanzania president, John Magufuli, the man who banned coronavirus, he just straight up said coronavirus is not allowed.
That could be effective.
Yeah,
That could work.
yeah, just like they closed the bars at 10 o'clock because they're
Right.
like, hey,
It could scare them away, scare their coronavirus away.
yeah, because that works.
It works like that.
And he's like a middle African, so just imagine like a middle African dude, just like no more corona, no more. Look at me, I am the corona now.
I want to know where he went to college.
I imagine not anywhere decent.
Wow.
Um, but I don't really want to sit here and talk about coronavirus because I think that's been um, kind of burned in everybody's brains for the past, what, 4 or 5 months?
6 almost.
6? Fuck, it's
It
been that
feels
long.
like it's been 5 years.
Actually, it's
over-
been over 6 months because my daughter
Yeah.
is 6 months old, and we were stuck in the hospital. I was stuck in the hospital. Obviously, my wife was
Yeah.
stuck in the hospital, but
Right. So for those people out there who, during this pandemic, don't really know what it's like, I know because I work with hospitals in my industry every day, so I kind of know what it's like inside those buildings. But for your wife being pregnant, having the baby in a hospital during COVID, what was that experience like, and what kind of protocol did you guys have to do that was like, this is kind of odd?
it was kind of annoying. Basically, I wasn't allowed to leave the hospital for any specific reason. And I was kind of stuck up in that room. Ain't that right?
Robert's wife Megan just walked in the room. She's wonderful.
I have to make a bottle.
She has to make a bottle for her baby, her beautiful baby.
Yeah, just
Brooklyn.
hers. Just hers.
Just hers. No, Robert is a great father.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to say, Megan?
No.
Fuck the free world.
What?
Fuck the free world.
Jesus Christ.
Lord have mercy. But anyways, going back to how it was for the being in the hospital for the coronavirus, obviously we were both kind of miserable because we were just kind of stuck there. You really couldn't do anything. You had to put a damn mask on every time somebody came in the room, which is horrible.
It's a hard time for me focusing on what you're saying when I'm watching Megan count to herself in her head, trying to listen to what we're saying. So did Megan have to wear a mask during the whole process?
Yeah.
Of what?
Oh no, you didn't when you got your surgery, but
When I had my cesarean, I didn't have to wear a mask, and I didn't have to get COVID tested, which was nice. But now they're actually making women, from what I've heard, they're making them get COVID tested before C-sections. Some nurses were okay without us wearing masks, but it was mostly the night shift nurses that were kind of assholes that were like, "You need to put on your mask right now." I was like, "Listen, shut up."
and the funny part is that they'd wake her up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to like feed the baby,
Yeah.
and they'd be like, "You need to put your mask on." She's like half asleep. She's like,
Does she have to wear a mask when she was sleeping?
"No, not that I know of.
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay.
Actually, but 90% of the time I didn't even wear a damn mask when I was in there because I was like, fuck it, if it's gonna take me, it's gonna take me. So.
Yeah.
But as far as like working during this, it's been horrible. I used to work at a prison,
Yeah.
and for one, don't ever become a correctional officer. Secondly, working with a mask for 8 to 16 hours a day is horrible.
Yeah.
Especially when you have some kind of facial hair. 'Cause I'm trying to grow a beard. From our voices, it almost sounds like I'd be the guy with the beard.
You're gonna go there?
Yeah,
You're gonna go there? huh?
yeah. I have a little bit lower voice than you, I think.
Okay.
I
would agree to that.
I think.
Yeah.
I think. But when I was listening back to our old podcast, I was like, man, it sounds like I'd be the one with the beard, and I can't grow a
It
beard with
does.
this shit. And you're over here looking masculine as hell. He's got like a sleeve full of tattoos, and
Well, let's give the people a description in our logo. Let's give them who's who. I'm the guy with the beard and the brown hair, and he is the blonde hair.
clean
boy.
face.
Yes, clean face.
Child.
So there's a little description. We're going to be posting videos.
Well,
on
there's
YouTube.
already one up on TikTok.
Of us?
Yeah.
Oh,
Of
my
you,
goodness.
you're on there. I'm not.
Okay. Well, I took one of you, so it'll be up with Robert too. So
Awesome.
you can analyze us.
Yeah, you can tell us how ugly we are and how much of a man child I look like. So, what were we at? Oh, especially if you have like some kind of facial hair. because I mean I got a little bit of it, and it's just enough to be annoying and itchy.
Yeah,
So when I put that damn mask on, it just makes me
it's terrible.
itch.
And it's
the
only
whole
going to
time.
get worse.
Uh,
But
you never know.
with the beard?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Jake. I think after we leave here, you know what I downloaded?
What'd you download?
I downloaded Dirt.
The Motley Crue movie?
No, not the Motley Crue movie. I didn't download that. I just looked it up on Netflix.
Okay.
The
Fancy
game
guy.
Dirt.
What the heck is that?
It's you never played the rally racing game Dirt?
We were talking about the other day. Is that what you're talking about
Yeah, no, I was talking about Forza,
now? Okay.
but now I have Dirt
So Dirt is a rally
car racing.
car racing game?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm looking into getting. I told Megan I want this for Christmas because
Okay.
me talking to her like the man child I am. It's like the little kid talking about things what I
Yeah.
want for Christmas.
Yeah.
I want her to get me one of those. I want her to get me one of those steering wheels with the pedals and
Yes.
the shifty doodads.
Yes.
I want her to get me one of them
Okay.
because I've never played a racing game with that. Have you?
No, I have not. I usually do it in my real car.
Aren't you cool?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my Chevy Equinox out and start doing some
I'm kidding,
sick
guys.
drifts.
I am a legal citizen who drives very well. But since we're talking about cars, I'm a huge car guy. And so I got to ask, what would you say is your favorite car? And I hope you ask me because I have a great answer.
Now you see, for me, I'm more of a truck guy
Okay.
because as a large man that I am, being 6'4" and like 250 pounds,
Yeah.
I fit a lot better in trucks and SUVs.
Okay.
But if I was to take a car, I do like Ford, the Ford Focus RSs.
What?
Yeah,
Okay, so let me ask you
if they're
this.
tuned out. I mean, it's not stock, obviously. Not.
Number one, terrible choice. And I
What?
mean that
No.
with kindness.
No.
So let me ask you this. I give you $1 million.
Oh,
and I
if you
say,
give me
go
$1
get
million,
any car you want.
that's a different story. If you
You're
give me $1 million
talking-
bucks.
You're talking budget-wise, an RS is
Yeah.
more realistic.
I'm not talking budget wise. I'm
Okay.
talking if you clap this son of a bitch out. See, have you ever seen rally car racing at all?
Yes, and I saw an RS as you're talking about.
Those are
all
some
tuned out.
sick fucking cars.
They look like a mom car that wanted to be cool. It's a minivan that's a little size smaller. It can fit Timmy in the back.
Okay, if I'm talking about budget, I'm probably going to either Subi or RS. But because I like the all-wheel drive.
I think those are terrible choices.
No, because you're a supercar guy. You're a Porsche
None
guy.
of us- I had a great suggestion for you.
What's that?
I'm talking maybe. What kind of price range are you talking?
That's you're the one that asked me the question.
So okay, if you're talking 50, you could 50 grand. And correct me if I'm wrong out there, people. I'm not too sure about these cars used, obviously.
If you're
but
talking about 50 grand, I'm gonna get a Cadillac CTSV. Yeah,
reasonable choice.
No,
now
I like
we're
those.
talking.
Yeah, yeah,
Now
see,
we're talking.
I fell in love with one of those when I worked at a Chevy dealership.
They're beautiful.
Oh,
Great car.
they're amazing and they have
I'm
a lot
thinking,
of power.
yes, they do. And I'm thinking they have the Corvette engine 6.2.
Mhm.
I'm thinking more towards if you have 50 grand, I would get a 2016 GT 350
GT
Shelby
350?
Cobra.
Okay, 50 grand.
You can get one used for 50 grand.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's-
Maybe high mileage, but I mean,
I'm looking at either. Yeah, okay, so this is a question I got for you because I've had uh, mixed feelings about this car.
Okay.
The Chevy SS 4-door.
yeah.
What do you think of those? I think those are pretty bad.
What year are you talking? Because they don't make
16.
them no more.
16.
They don't.
They made them
make
16.
still?
Yep, they made them at 16.
Is it a Malibu?
No, it's not a Malibu.
It's a Chevy or
A Chevy SS.
Chevy
Chevrolet SS.
SS.
Yeah.
For all those out there, I'm looking it up. Okay, I'm seeing what you're talking about.
It's kind of like a Camaro, but it's
This is,
4-door.
this is my opinion on that. You want my opinion?
What's that?
It looks cool. It's still a mom car trying to be a sports car.
But,
It doesn't do it for me.
okay, so if we're talking about muscle cars here, because, I'm far from like a 400 supercar kind of guy, because I know you're more into like Porsches type deals.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I like Porsches, but I don't think I could ever, get into them I've never studied them, and I've never driven one.
Right.
I've driven Corvettes, I've driven SSs, Cadillac CTSVs, things like that.
And
But
if you're talking budget, right, before you get to your question, you're looking also at the C8 new mid-engine Corvette.
yeah, I guess.
Or you're looking at
The
a
new one?
yeah, it starts at 60 grand, which you're obviously
But you're not going to
markup prices. Yeah,
you're not going to get it for
for
that.
50 grand, the perfect sports car to me is the C7 Corvette.
Okay, I could take
But
that.
go back to your question.
But if you're talking muscle cars here, because I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's a Mustang, the new Mustang."
Yeah.
No, if I'm gonna get any kind of muscle car, I'm gonna go with a few years back. I'm gonna go 15, 16
Okay.
Camaros.
Why?
I drove one of those, obviously, when I worked at this dealership, and I fell in love with it because, for one, I like the fact that I can press a button on my car
Okay.
and my exhaust will not wake the whole fucking neighborhood up.
Right.
And then when I get out of the neighborhood, I could flip it off and it's loud as shit.
Right. Okay.
Um, it drives smooth.
Mm-hmm.
When you get on the gas, you feel it. That sounds like a song.
Yeah.
What song is that?
I don't know. Well,
It's like a The Baby song or something like that. I think I just quoted, but basically, you feel it. It has some kick to it. I cannot stand driving Mustangs. They don't feel comfortable to me. They're not smooth. I think it's more. I think it might be because Camaros are a little roomier on the inside. It feels.
yeah, I'm not. I haven't grown up around Mustang. I grew up mostly around Camaros and Corvettes, so I'm kind of more in that field of knowing what those cars feel like, and they're great cars. But I personally would have to say the best muscle car, especially for if you're talking bang for your buck, for a regular person who doesn't have a great, huge income job that can go get Ferraris. I'm talking the best car, muscle car wise, is a wide body Hellcat. And I think a lot of people would agree to that. Just the horsepower you're getting for the price range you're at.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's still not like an everyday person car.
Well, it could be.
Okay. But what person has the money to drop, you know, 60, 50 grand on that?
Right.
Maybe a retired,
But
guy
what
with no
car
kids.
below that are you talking? That's
I'm
it's
not. I'm not
size and
talking.
used.
I'm not talking that. I'm just saying like if you're gonna buy one new, that's pricey.
Okay, I
But
agree to
if
that.
we're getting bang for your buck here, now actually speaking of this, I want to go back to this. Why the hell don't you like Subies? What's wrong with Subies?
Just I have a respect for what they can do. I have respect for the engineering teams that have created the amazing performance that they put out. I just think that their look is hideous. I think their styling is terrible.
Like the WRX and everything.
One of the worst looking cars, in my opinion. I have one that currently lives at the apartment. And every time I hear it or look at it, I want to throw up. It has it's basically my Ford Fusion with a wing on the back,
I can kind of see that with a
and
Subi
it's
badge on it.
terrible.
Now, I fell in love with a Subi because I had driven past one time, and like when I was like 16, and for some reason it's always stuck in my head. And I'm sitting there driving, and all of a sudden I see a Subi. I'm like, what the fuck kind of car is that? It's clapped out.
Yeah,
It's got the whole ricer
yeah.
look and everything. Next thing you know, when he fucking hits it beside me, he goes. I was like, oh, like
Yes,
because when you do turbo those things, they have like a ridiculous wastegate on them. Most
yes,
people, and
yes.
it sounds so cool.
I do love the sound. I love that. Phew.
Yeah, but
So
no,
let's okay to kind of close up the car conversation.
yeah, 'cause I don't think anybody wants. We've talked about cars for like 10 minutes
Yeah,
now.
so I'll give mine first. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah,
I would say I'm an old school car guy. I love the old vintage Ferraris and Porsches, so I'll stray away from that. I'll get more into modern cars. I would say the best modern car in today's time is a McLaren 720S. I think the look is unbelievable and the engine and performance is just out of this world. But then I would say the best everyday car, looks wise, and this is a ridiculous answer, no one's gonna agree, but I would have to say Rolls Royce Phantom.
a Rolls Royce.
Phantom is the best everyday.
If I
Not
had the money to buy a Rolls Royce,
right.
I'm not buying a Rolls
But then
Royce.
again, that's not a daily car. That's a car you take out on Saturday to go
That
to spend
that's a
$2,000 on food.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's a car you leave in the garage and wear a suit
Yeah,
every time you grab the
exactly.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
Now, see, as far as like the McLaren, because I just looked it up, the 720S, I think it's cool. I'm not a big fan of how like long well, I guess it is rear engine, but it's just ooh, never mind. Hang on, I might be eating my words. The interior is
Yes.
beautiful. I'm gonna stick with my Corvettes.
Okay. I mean, that's a
Because I see, like, it's hard for me to talk like that. Yeah. it's hard for me to talk like about sports car or supercars and things like that because I'm not very versed in supercars. Like I said, I'm a truck guy and
Sure.
I'm a straight muscle guy. But
Are you talking about your body physique?
no,
You're
I'm
talking
kind of
about the car.
ever since I had a kid, I got fat. So
I
um,
heard that can happen.
yeah, you'll find out one day.
Okay,
But
can't wait.
yeah, as far as that goes, I'm like a truck guy. I like to I like diesels.
See, and one last thing to get on the cars, you get me going, is the truck is a great answer because it kind of puts two categories in one. You can get the everyday feature obviously with the truck, and then you can get the sport part of your life you want in a truck too. I mean, the engines they put out now in the modern trucks is unbelievable what they can do. So you kind of get
Like,
two in one.
and the weird thing is that the EcoBoost is oddly like the Ford, the
Yeah,
EcoBoost Fords.
they're
They're
incredible.
they're oddly more powerful than the straight gas.
I believe it.
It's weird.
Yeah. So to kind of get away from the cars, because all the guys are probably loving it, and all the women out there listening, which we appreciate you guys listening, and
I don't know if we have very many women that are
probably
listening.
not, but we love you guys out there. I'm sure we have two beautiful women watching, which is our wives. We love and appreciate your support. But the top, I was watching videos. I've been obsessed lately watching videos on YouTube when I should be asleep for work, and they're just survival videos. And I'm a huge Walking Dead guy, so I kind of wanted to get a discussion of what would we do, and say tonight, right now, a zombie apocalypse happens. What are you doing, Robert?
What I'm doing,
Start from scratch. Where are you
so
going? What are you getting?
am I looting?
Are you looting?
Yeah, is this a looting situation or can I still go out and buy shit?
No,
Or
you
what's
can't
going on?
buy it. It's zombies have
It's
taken
already
over the
started.
town.
Okay.
It's already done.
If it's already started, yeah, no. I'm going to straight to the gun store because well, everybody's gonna go to the fucking gun store. But either way, I still got my gun, so I'm gonna kill everybody else at the gun store.
So you're gonna kill innocent people who you don't know who have done wrong.
Fuck them.
Okay.
This is me.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the gun store,
Okay.
assuming it's not already looted out. I'm gonna go to that motherfucker. I'm gonna take all the ammo, all the weapons that I can carry, possibly with a bag. I'm gonna bring a backpack, fill that bitch up with ammo because you can fit a lot of ammo in a backpack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab all the slings. I can sling. You can sling 6 guns over you. I'm gonna grab preferably assault rifles for the most part,
Okay.
if available. A couple hunting rifles
Okay.
because you still need to eat.
Right.
Because that's the thing. I'm not worried about going to the grocery store and getting food because I can fend. I've been a hunter my whole life. I can fish, so I can fend myself out in the winters. I'm going out to the wilderness. I'm building myself a damn shack,
Okay.
and I'm chilling out there.
So you're up. So let me get this correct to keep people tuned. Not tuned, but keep people kind of on
The right track.
right track. Thank you. So you're going your first stop. You and your wife and your beautiful daughter, Brooklyn. You guys are going. It's leaving home. You're going straight to the gun shop, getting what you can, packing up, going to say deep woods because we live in a small town. So going to the deep woods and just setting up camp there.
Yeah, because
Okay.
if you think about it,
So now here's the question: you have winter coming up. What are you doing? Where's your shelter?
fire. I told you I
You
would.
can't have a 24-hour fire when it's snowstorm's coming.
Well, like I said, you can make a shelter, a pretty decent shelter. If I'm well, I guess I can go get building supplies too, because I do have a pickup truck.
So you're against finding a home to shelter in.
No, yeah, no. Unless I can find a house out there,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a possibility too.
For sure.
But actually, no, and I'd probably go to my old house I used to live at. It's right in the middle of the woods.
Okay.
Has a pond.
Well, now everybody else is going to try to find where you live and come and get you because
Yeah.
you just.
I don't live there anymore. Nobody. I don't know who lives there now.
Okay.
I would go there. I would probably kill the people inside, whether they're infected or not.
Wow.
Well, that's just less. I'd have to ration the food out more.
Right, but it's also more people that can provide and more
Nah.
people that can protect and do watches. You guys all can't be awake 24/7.
I can't.
Okay. Well,
I'm Superman.
yeah.
But no, as I was saying, I was just kidding about killing people that are inside. But yeah, I would probably go there and just kind of set up a perimeter,
Okay.
a security perimeter, and just kind of stack up on food and kill as many animals as I can because there's deer everywhere.
Okay.
So
Sure. And I have a question though.
what's that?
So you said you went to the gun store, correct?
Uh huh.
And you probably, I assume, took an AR-15.
Uh-huh.
So what are you gonna do when you're hunkered down in your camp spot that you find with your family, and Joe Biden comes to the door and needs your AR-15 to confiscate?
Boogaloo.
Okay, what does that mean?
You don't know what Boogaloo is?
No, I don't.
Look it up.
Okay,
I don't want to say it on here because I could possibly have the ATF at my house and kill me like Waco.
okay.
So,
Wow, hardcore statements there. But okay, that was a joke, guys. Obviously, don't take it to heart. But
kind of.
no comment. But so that's your plan, and you're sticking to it.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
100%.
All right,
I'm gonna go grab a water.
Okay.
You keep talking.
I'll give my. You want me to give them my strategy?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's pretty similar, and I think the only option at that time is going to be to hunker down deep in the country. But that's a big problem, especially for people not like Robert who don't know survival skills. Who don't know gunsmithing, who don't know what it takes to shoot, and not only shoot but shoot properly. People think you just pick up a gun and you shoot, which you can do.
You ain't gonna hit nothing.
You're not going to hit nothing, and when you have, let's say, a zombie right at your, 6 feet away because coronavirus.
You want a social distance.
You want to social distance and put him down. But I would say, I would do what he said. I wouldn't go to the gun shop. I'm staying as far away from any public place as possible. I'm staying silent.
My thing is, I have a gun shop right down the road.
Well, you have that amenity, and that's a good, smart plan. But for me and my wife, who is just me and my wife in this example, we would want to be like Ghost, unseen. Nobody see us because I feel like in a zombie apocalypse, people will be just out to kill and get supplies.
Are you gonna
And-
bring your cats?
Well, of course.
Okay.
Yes, of course. They are family. So me and the wife and the cats will go to country. We'll pack. I have a pretty. I would by any means not be called a prepper. I have essential needs that I feel would be essential in a situation like this, or just having to be survive for a few months. Things like a life straw, water supply, and fire starters and waterproof, all that good stuff. So I have a decent amount of knowledge on surviving in the wild. So, but I think that would only go so far. So I would have to move to finding a nice sheltered home.
My thing is that when it comes to water and stuff, I'm not worried about that. It's just taking up more space. You can boil water.
Yeah.
You can purify water yourself.
Hmm.
And I think that's personally you gotta kind of look at things like necessities, what you can get out there to what you need to bring.
Yep.
Because if you bring 10 jugs of water, that's just so much more space that you can fill up with either food or
Right.
other essential items.
So for me, maybe not you so much. The biggest problem I would face would be a food supply because I don't know how to. I've never hunted in my life before, and so I feel like that would be the biggest problem that we would encounter is just providing that food.
Honestly, I think if it was in a survival situation, you'd probably figure it out pretty damn quick.
Right when it's
'Cause-
yeah.
You shoot something, you just go up there and just cut all the meat off that you can find.
Yeah, but I'm afraid of that. Like, there's a process to cutting the meat to not get parts that are contained or
See,
there's
that's different when
toxins.
that's different when you're doing it for, when you're processing it normally compared to in a survival situation. In a survival situation, I'm not worried about that. It's going to be cooked.
Right. Okay.
Now, if you're looking at it and just, oh, I'm going to shoot a deer and process it, you're thinking, what part's going to taste good
Hmm.
and stuff like that. You're not worried about that then. You're worried
Okay.
about getting your calorie intake.
Yep.
So, I mean, you could even eat the guts of some animals, like birds and things. So,
Yeah. Okay.
it's a pretty interesting process. So,
Yeah, I just think that would be something I think would come easy to a lot of people just because when you're faced with life or death and you have to feed your family, you're gonna go find that deer pretty dang quick.
yeah, that's a lot of things that people don't really think about. Whether it be either like a zombie apocalypse, not even like, because that's not really like a plausible thing. It could happen, but more or less like, a natural disaster or
Yeah.
something happens where you don't have a home or you have to get out quick.
Or even an economic collapse.
Yeah, like people don't think about that kind of thing.
No.
And that's why I think, honestly, those essential skills of survival are something that you should probably have.
To have in the arsenal.
Yeah, save your family.
And I think we're seeing more and more of what it means to be prepared because the COVID has really taught us a lot of things. It's taught us how unprepared we are
Mhm.
as a country and as a world, really, of just a virus like this, which I'm not downplaying it, but it's a flu in a way, but yet stores were being hounded and people were going crazy and acting like it's the end of the world. So it showed a lot of people's lack of preparedness.
Hang on, our marketing manager is making a lot of noise.
Yes, our new marketing manager, Millie Bobby Brown. Shout out to Stranger Things. Great show. Check it out.
I've
Kind
never
of
seen
along
that.
the lines of the apocalypse.
I've actually never seen Stranger.
It is probably the best show ever.
What's the concept?
What do you think it's about?
I assume it's about strange things.
You'd be spot on, surprisingly.
Really?
Have you ever seen The Goonies?
The Goonies, yeah. The Sloth.
Yeah, that's a good impression. But it's along the lines of that. It's kids trying to figure out where a monster is coming from and how to stop the monster. And that's a
Oh, okay.
very short explanation. And it's based in the 80s, so it's 80s music, and
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
amazing.
I'll have to check that out because I've heard a lot about it, but I've never actually
Yes,
watched it.
it's amazing. You need to check it out. And also, I have one more question, kind of along the lines of survival. Would you rather? Someone asked me this. That's what kind of brought it up, spawned in my brain. Would you rather have a lot of guns with a limited amount of ammo, or one gun with a lot of ammo?
Oh,
Because I already have my answer.
what's the gun? Is the question. Does it matter the gun?
Doesn't matter the gun.
Okay, if I got like an AR-15, I'd rather have that one gun with a lot of ammo because if you take care of that one gun, it'll last you forever as long as it's high quality.
Okay.
Now, if I have like a 22 with a lot of ammo, which is a normal thing because I have like 2,000 rounds for mine.
Yeah.
It's like it takes like 4 shots to. I guess you can kill somebody in one shot with 22 because a bullet bounced around, but
Yeah.
I'd rather have one good gun with a shit ton of ammo.
I think my answer would be I would be very confident and happy in just having a Shield 2.0, which I have, and having a crap ton load of ammo. I just feel that is the best firearm, for practical use and just protecting yourself. And you don't have to worry about ammo supply. And I just feel like that would best suit me.
So we agree.
Okay. Absolutely.
So my question is, what do you think of Alex Jones?
You know what? Since we're at podcast, my favorite podcaster who I listen to daily almost is Joe Rogan, and my perception of Alex Jones, I had never listened to him, so my perspective was kind of what the media was outputting about him, that he was just this crazy guy on the radio. And so then when I listened to him on Joe Rogan, which I recommend listening to his interview with Alex Jones, it really kind of opened up my perspective of him because he had very good, intelligently put stories, and it was very eye-opening to kind of what he had to say. I find him an interesting person, and I think he gets a lot of hate when he is just trying to form an opinion, maybe. But I have to admit, I don't know a whole lot about him.
Do you want to hear something?
Sure.
1 sec.
Do you hate him?
No.
Do you not like him?
Mm-mm.
I've never listened to a show to really form an attitude.
The alien lesbian rock people
Yeah.
live under the rocks, steal our children.
We have a special guest, Alex Jones, in studio.
Hello, I'm Alex Jones. I think that the aliens are they're coming down, and Barack Obama sent them. That's
You think Obama sent the aliens?
Obama is an alien.
Okay.
He's an illegal alien.
Okay. One thing I do have to say that I kind of looked into about Alex Jones was the things he says about the mass school shootings. I think are very insensitive to the parents. Saying it was fake. When you're a parent and your children had to be buried because of a maniac killed them in school, and then you have someone who is a popular person, media saying that was fake. I think that would be a alarming comment to make and a insensitive comment.
Well, the fact that he's banned from all major platforms now is kind of a...
Yes, which I think is wrong.
Yeah, no, I think that kind of limits his freedom of speech to say whatever the fuck he wants to say.
Yeah,
he's kind of weird, but...
He's weird, but he has the right as anybody else does to say what he wants. It's, again, opinion. It's, he can go on YouTube, and I feel he has a right to do that.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
you like him?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Okay.
He's not bad. I think he's funny. That's basically the gist of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you listen to his show as saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna listen to this comedy show," I think you would really probably like him
Oh
instead
yeah.
of listening to him in a serious tone note, thinking everything he's saying is true.
I don't think he's actually 100% serious in that things he says either.
I think he probably says a lot of things to get the media attention that he does.
Yeah, and
I think he likes that,
that's a good idea.
and he's a great marketer.
100%. Yeah.
Infowars.com.
What?
Infowars.com.
Infowars.com. You know, I don't know how I actually ended up actually being able to do that impression.
I don't know
I,
how we
I
got Alex Jones in this episode,
yeah,
our second podcast.
we
We're
paid a lot of money for this.
Yes.
Thank
you, Millie, for contacting him.
Yeah. $36.22.
That's
is
all we
what
paid?
him. Yeah.
Oh wow.
We'll see, Alex.
See you later. Be careful. Make sure those rock people don't get you.
All right. See ya.
I think he's going deep down in his bunker now.
he's going back under the rock that he lives under.
Yes.
Does that mean he's an alien rock person then?
He could be a messenger from the aliens trying to say other people are aliens so he doesn't get called out as an alien.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a very good thing.
It's like, have you ever heard the story that there is aliens underneath Wright-Patterson Air Force Base?
I've not heard that.
You never heard that? They're there in Dayton.
Do you believe in
Dayton,
aliens?
That's a fuck. That's a hard one because I think there has to be because of the simple fact that the universe is so large
Mm-hmm.
that there's no way there couldn't be any other living beings.
Yes,
You know,
I agree with you. I don't think they, in a sense, look like what people portray an alien to look like.
I would think they'd look more like us.
I think so. I think there could be different life forms out there. And it's hard. It's a hard topic because it's hard to say something's true when there's not a whole lot of evidence, but in a way there is evidence. Um,
Well, if you think about it in a logical sense, there's
yeah,
the universe is infinitely expanding.
yes,
So there's no possible way that we're the only species that, what do you say, only species that advanced enough to have, you know, travel outside of the Earth or, have technology in general. There's no possible way.
yeah, I agree, and it's a topic for me that I kind of don't know where to find the answer because I'm a proud Christian, and I kind of look to the Bible for guidance in a way on that topic to whether to see if I should believe in that or not.
I mean, I am too, but I don't think it goes away from the faith at all.
Okay.
Thinking that this is my opinion, obviously. I don't think it goes away from the faith at all when you talk about there being aliens over here, because obviously this God that you and I believe in,
Yes.
other people might not. So sorry about that. This is triggering people, but um, I think that obviously they would have been made by that superficial being.
And God
Regardless.
said He has created all life forms.
All life. It didn't say just here.
And He didn't say it's just a specific type of life.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think from a certain term, I think that the things that science say happen to create this earth and to create the people happen, but I think that something made it happen. That being God, made it happen. So I think these things that science is saying, oh look, there's evolution things. I think that's kind of true in a sense, but something had to make that stuff happen.
absolutely,
There's
yeah.
not the things just couldn't line up that perfectly.
And I don't think there's a caveman, and then that caveman ever turned into a human in a sense. I don't so much believe in evolution, but again, as I said, I'm a very proud Christian, and so I try to follow as much as I can what the Bible tells me,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense.
I am a Christian also, as I said, but I do believe in the Bible. I do believe in most things in the Bible. But another thing that I think a lot of people have issues with, and this is just my opinion. Obviously, I'm not screwing what you're saying in any way and degrading what you're saying. My opinion, I think that it is a human written scripture. And so there is some things in there, I think personally, that I'm not saying they're not true,
Okay.
but that are written from a human sense, I guess. It's just from a human sense of knowledge. uh, like I mean, if you followed the Bible 100%, you would not wear two different kinds of linens. You would stone homosexuals, things like that. I don't believe in none of that, but I do believe it's something that was said for a reason. I guess it's hard to explain for me because I was raised Lutheran, which I still am, but I just a lot of it's just kind of I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's kind of a hard subject to get into.
Yeah, and that might be safe for a podcast down the road. But yeah, so I mean, we kind of gone into robots, apocalypse, and then religion.
And cars.
And cars. We covered cars, and but religion is
It's kind of a tough subject
it's a tough subject.
because when it comes to religion, there's so many different aspects. There's so many different ways you can believe within the Christian faith, within the Hindu, Muslim.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to practice and ways to believe, different things to believe.
Yeah.
So my line of thinking with religion, with the Christian faith, is going to be 100% different than you or your wife or even my wife thinks.
Right.
But it's all up to personal interpretation, I think.
Right, and as I said, and I'll always say, I'm a very proud Christian who tries to live by the Bible standards and what the Bible tells me, the Word of God. And the thing, he's right on what he's saying. We could both sit here and read the same Bible verse and have 100 different interpretations of what that means to us and how you place that into your life. And it's a great thing though if you think of the concept of it, and it's just I think a great guideline to live your life. I mean, if you really look at the roots of the Bible and what it tries, the essential main things is things that just make you a good person.
And
If you look at the Ten Commandments, it's just good guidelines to be a good person.
teach you not to be an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. So
If you kill somebody, you're probably an asshole.
right,
It's-
yes,
But no, it's just and my thing is I'm not gonna look down on somebody else for them having a different view on the way I look at things.
yeah,
Like for example, if somebody's a Muslim and they practice Muslim faith, right?
hmm
This is kind of a hard hitting topic here. If they practice the Muslim faith the right way and are not extreme, because there is Christians extremists too. It's not only Muslims.
there's an extremist everything.
Exactly. As long as they're not extremists, they do the things that their book says, and they follow it because they're comfortable with the way they live. That's fine with me, as long as you don't try to chop my head off for
Yeah,
making me for showing a depiction of Muhammad like that teacher. So that's just my take on it. I don't care what somebody else views. I don't even care if somebody's atheist. They can.
yeah.
That's their.
And I agree. I think the way I try to live my life as a Christian is to not ever preach it to somebody and say, "Hey, I'm right, you're wrong." My way of going about it is living the way God wants me to, but in return, people seeing that I'm happy living for God and living His way. And so in return, I like to think there's going to be a person, and it's happened before in my life. So people say, "Why are you why are you so happy? Why are you so?" I see you as someone I can come to for guidance, and I just always tell them, I'm a Christian, and that's given me the opportunity to try to be a great person. And so that I feel is just a great way to go about helping others to lead them to Christ if that's your goal, which I personally believe it should be. And so I think there's a lot of misinterpretations and a lot of Christians ruin it for a lot of people because they draw them away because they're preachy and they're trying to tell you you're doing wrong. And when you go about it that way, you're going to push people away.
Like my thing is too is that a lot of I don't personally attend church anymore. Because whenever you go to church, it just feels like they're kind of just doing it to show people, hey, I go to church. Not everybody, but a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of like, oh, you don't come here enough because you don't come here enough, and or you wore this to church, or look what they did. And in my church, for example, people would come in and it would be the gossip basically before everything started. It's like, I come from my father was Catholic, and I think you're Catholic too, correct?
Yeah, I was raised Catholic
and
a reborn Christian.
it kind of makes me my dad said before the service starts, it's your time for reflection. You're not supposed to be around talking about Jim Tom's cornfield
Yeah.
or how Betty's or not Betty, I shouldn't say Betty. Mary Lou's sister's pregnant with her husband's dad.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You should be taking that time to focus on how can I be a better person and how can I apply what the preacher or priest is telling me today.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's exactly right again, because not to get too personal, but I've been kicked out of a church, and thankfully that's how I met my wife, and we're now married, and that's taught me a lot. And I could be bitter, I could be angry at churches, and in a lot of ways I want a lot of change in churches, and I think there's a lot of things that could be better for them, but I don't let it stray me away from following Christ, and I don't let that get to me. But I think a lot of churches are doing a lot of things wrong, and at the end of the day, I think they take the business of it above what their true objective should be, which is guiding people to Christ instead of looking at the money they're getting.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But moving on from religion, because I know
Yes.
that's going to piss some people off.
Yes.
But it's whatever. If you have an issue with us talking about a hard hitting subject like that and giving our personal opinion on it, that's all on you.
Or a great thing you can do is you can start your own podcast up and talk about what you think.
And talk shit about us.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
cool.
Well,
I like
welcome
it. I like it. I think it's funny. But we're going to go a little bit into politics here because it's towards the end of the podcast.
Who would we be if we didn't bring up politics?
Exactly. We only got about, I'd say, 12, 13 minutes left.
Well, hit me with it. Let's go.
Give or take. So, as far as this presidential election goes,
and as we're recording this, a political debate is going on.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it?
As we're missing it. We love you guys.
What time does it start?
It already started.
What time's it end? 10:30 probably?
10:30.
All right, we'll wrap this up. Well, we are going to finish up right on time. So
get into what you're going to say, though.
But anyways, as far as this election goes this year,
yes.
How do you think this compares to 2016? How do you think the outcome is going to come compared to 2016? Because personally, I think that it's going to be almost damn near the same.
I would agree to the outcome being the same. I think the outcome reaction is going to be something we've never seen before in history.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily, I don't think it's going to go extreme as people are going to be.
Like a civil war.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be more of excuses on the other end that loses. I think they're going to do everything they can to overturn what was ruled. They're going to look at the mail-in voting. They're going to look at everything to prolong the process of putting the elected president in office.
Whether it be Biden or Trump.
Of course. I think this is different than the 2016 election, given, and again, not to get too political, but I'm going to go there.
No, this is the last 10 minutes.
So yeah, I'm going to make it good, and I'll give you your time too. I think that we don't know. In 16, I think we knew a lot of what Hillary stood for. We knew her stances on things. We knew what she thought, and we, for the most part, knew what she was going to do if she became president, whether she did it or not. We had a outline of what she wanted to do, and right now, I think even the Democrats can admit to that Biden hasn't been very clear on his policies. Of course, he said we're not going to find out his packing of the court and his opinion on that until he's elected. And I think that's shady and not what we should want in a future president. And of course, on Trump's side, I think he should put aside some of the things he says on Twitter. That's besides the point. I look at more his policies rather than his personality. I look at more what he's going to do for the country rather than what he says on Twitter. But I think compared to the 2016 election, I think we don't know enough about Biden. And I think it comes to that place of Biden's been in politics for the majority of his life and has nothing really to show for it. And I think that's a huge indicator. You would think it would really not give him a good race, but I think he is a pretty decent puppet for the left. So.
See, I personally think it's going to be, I think for Biden, the only reason why it is a race is because he does have everybody in the left. I mean, it's no doubt about it because there's no, I agree with his policies. Like, as me personally, I'm a right-leaning libertarian. If I think let's say Joe Biden was like this, that, and I'm just like, okay, I agree with that. I'll vote Democrat.
Yeah.
Or, if Donald Trump was like, hey, I like this, that, I'm going to vote Donald Trump. I'm not. And the thing with this is going to piss. Excuse me. This is a really weird subject for me because when I talk about libertarianism, because the Libertarian Party, even though I am a part of it and I am an active member of the Libertarian Party, it's never going to work because we have left libertarians, you have right libertarians.
Yeah.
So it's just like basically Republicans and Democrats. But the only
Right.
difference is that a lot of us are kind of like, okay, I can agree with that side. I can kind of see where they're coming from over here.
Yeah.
Or I can kind of see where they're coming from over here. Just don't take my shit.
Yeah.
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 But it's never going to work because you can't get rid of. I mean, this is going to sound very unlibertarian to me, but you can't get rid of all taxes.
Yeah.
It will never work.
No.
And I don't know. But going back to this election, sorry, I got on a tangent about libertarians. This election, I think, is going to turn out damn near the same. I think that Trump is going to lead an election day. He's going to, on November 11th, is that what it is?
Yes.
November 11th, he's going to be declared the technical winner that day.
Yeah.
He's going to turn around. Joe Biden's going to make up some ground, all the mail-ins, because for some reason mail-in ballots are a thing now. But I think ultimately, I think Trump's going to win. I think it's going to be by a reasonable margin because there is a lot of people like small towns and things like that that don't participate in these polls because they're not asked to.
Yeah.
These polls, a lot of them are major cities.
Yes.
And most major cities are naturally Democrat.
Yeah. I think personally, it hurts me to say this because I am a Republican, and I fully 100% support and really respect Trump as a person and as a politician and as our president, and I respect him to every extent of the word. And I hate to say this, I'm just going based off the knowledge that I've acquired from reading and watching things. I think Trump's going to lose. I think the biggest thing to acquire, Robert's giving me that face like, what is he talking about? My biggest thing to attest to why he's going to lose is COVID. I think it has really turned people who may have been leaning towards Trump. I think COVID has changed that perspective of him. And, I hate to say it, but I think if Trump does lose, as I hope he doesn't, I think it'll owe a lot to the COVID reaction, which I think the reaction has been phenomenal, but some people disagree.
Oh, I don't know if I can look at you to say. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
But,
it's not an opinion. It's not what I want.
I know. I'm just joking with you.
You know.
I personally think that I completely differ. I think he's probably going to win at the end because there is,
I hope you're right.
like everybody says, there is a silent majority,
Yes.
and although Biden is leading by 10, 11 points, I think
After
right
the
now in the polls.
16 election, I don't even look at the polls.
Yep,
I don't
nope.
care. It doesn't matter. It didn't make. It was all. It showed nothing of the result in 16. So why should we believe it now?
Yeah, exactly. The polls don't make any sense. I think they should do away with the shit.
Yeah.
And honestly, and they should just stick with what the election says.
So can I end this with kind of a question?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I can't speak tonight because I was kind of studying Biden's policies on his website, and he has a very detailed outline on gun control and what he thinks should happen with guns, and he outlines specifically an AR-15. So let me play devil's advocate because I want to know your opinion. Why should you have an AR-15?
Because my God-given right as a man to have an AR-15. And this is my libertarian coming up. If I want a fully automatic freaking weapon, I deserve to have a freaking fully automatic weapon if I please. It is indoctrined to say that I can own any kind of weapon, although it is indoctrined that I'm not able to own a fully automatic weapon unless it's prior to 1989. But personally, I think that AR-15s are perfectly acceptable, and I can have one if I want.
I agree to that.
No mag limits.
Yeah, I agree to that. And I was looking at the stats, and it came out that I forget the numbers. I had them written down, but I forgot to bring them. There was a higher, and he talks about background checks and more policies in place to prevent criminals or potential criminals of getting their hands on weapons. And a big portion of school shooters did not purchase their weapons that they used in the shooting. They got it from their parents, or they got it from a family member that they had locked away. There's an example of a school shooter. I forget his name. He put soap on his dad's gun locks box to try to get his fingerprints to get in his box. He couldn't get into it, so he found a gun in his father's closet hidden away, and that's the weapon he used. So, I mean, I just don't think there's I think no matter what, a criminal will find a way to get a gun. If he wants to kill people, he's going to find a way, and taking away an AR-15 from law-abiding citizens, I don't think is the answer.
And to finish this off the last 4 minutes, I think personally, look at Chicago.
Yeah.
Look at a lot of these cities that have gun bans on them. Look at the murder rate in Chicago. Look at the violent crime rate. Look how many people get shot in Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago is just one example. I mean, Chicago, it's kind of a shithole. Let's be honest, because
Yep.
it's poorly ran, poorly funded, and nobody cares about it. And they still get guns. If they banned guns, specifically, like let's say they banned AR-15s. If I wanted to go down to Mexico and get an AR-15 somehow, or get in ties with somebody in Mexico to bring an AR-15 unregistered, no numbers, you could do that
Yes.
easily. I mean, easily. And it doesn't make any sense because there's always a way to get a weapon.
Yes, and I have a stat I pulled up to kind of conclude what you're saying. And between the dates in the United States of 1982 and February of 2020, the number of weapons used in mass shootings from that timeline, handguns 143 times and a 95 number of incidents, compared to, say, an AR-15 rifles, there have been 55 used and 47 cases of incidents. So that just goes to show the stats prove that mostly in these shootings, it's a handgun or a pistol that's being used. So what's your answer to regulate that?
I
That you
think
can't have.
I honestly think those stats are kind of bullshit in a sense because a lot of these mass shootings that are reported, I say it with quotations because 2 to 3 people is not a mass shooting. If you shoot 3 people, that is you murdering 3 people.
Yeah.
I don't think that should constitute as a mass shooting. I honestly do not.
I think the number is over 6, if I'm correct.
Is it over 6?
I think it is.
That could be a point.
I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm
But
wrong.
the thing is, though, is that pistols are already mass distributed. Almost like I would probably say like 75% of Americans either own a pistol, or I'd say 100% of Americans own a pistol or know somebody who owns a pistol
Yes.
or has access to a pistol because they're cheap, they're easy to get.
And they're reliable.
Yeah,
If you get the right
exactly.
one.
A lot of people have them for home defense, or just like me, I carry one in my car.
Yeah.
And it's just they're so much more accessible than let's say an AR-15. Because I mean, how many people do you know that own an AR-15? Probably. So we know a lot because we live in an area.
I personally know a lot. Yes.
We live in an area where a lot of people own
Yes.
a lot of guns.
Yes.
But for somebody that lives in like a bigger city, it's probably not that many people that they know that have an AR-15 because they're more expensive. They are reliable, but they're expensive. Not well, I guess you can find pretty. No.
In my research of trying to find one because I'm interested in buying one, the cheapest I could find is in the high 500 range.
Yeah, which I mean, but the thing is, though, is that you could go out to the store and you could buy a High Point for $105.
Yeah.
You can buy a Heritage pistol for $85.
Yeah, I got a Rough Rider for $110.
Really?
Revolver 22.
Give you $80 for it. No,
Done.
Anyways, they're so much more accessible. Because I had been looking previously to get an AK-47
Oh my gosh.
because they're so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to find one for under $2,000. I mean, it's ridiculous. But
So to finish up, I said the last question to finish up, but to kind of get to sum up the gun thing, because I kind of have probably, I assume, a different opinion on this than you. It's not a completely formed opinion quite yet because I haven't looked into it quite as much. What do you think of bump stocks?
Bump stocks?
Bump stocks as used in the
Use them.
Vegas
If you want them,
shooting.
take it.
Okay.
Because bump stocks, for one, they're fun.
Sure.
But I could easily find different ways to shoot my weapon fully automatic if I wanted to. As far as like other modifications I'm not going to get into because ATS probably already listening.
Yeah.
There's other modifications that you could do to your weapon to make it fully automatic. And if you really want to do those, and they're easy modifications that anybody without a gunsmithing certificate or training in that kind of department can get. They're simple. And I don't think that a bump stock is really going to banning a bump stock is not going to inherently stop people from having fully automatic weapons in a sense. And the thing is, I'm more worried about the guy with a semi-automatic weapon than a fully automatic weapon. And you want to know why?
Why?
Have you ever tried shooting a fully automatic weapon?
No, I'm not.
Good luck hitting the target. You might hit one person.
But if you're in a window like the Vegas shooter was, and all your
But
whole
he had a bipod.
Okay.
If you have bipod, yeah, you're gonna be able to hit something.
Yeah.
Because that's like having a literal machine gun. Because you're stabilized, you're able to, it's not gonna you're not gonna be riding out.
And in this case, the majority of shooters are younger adults or teenagers who don't have the funds to do to have the equipment he had. I may be incorrect, but he's a very wealthy man who had
Was.
he was, yeah, thankfully, because I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah, no.
He deserves.
I wish he. No, I'm not gonna say it.
You wish he had a more painful death.
I wish he wouldn't have killed himself, and I wish the cops would have got the chance to shoot him.
I agree with that completely. But like those shooters, they're all cowards. They
Yeah.
don't want to face people who actually have a gun. They want to face
Somebody knows
defenseless.
what they're doing.
Yeah, they want to face defenseless, innocent people, and they deserve to rot away because of that. But I think that what was I getting to? That he had the ability to get those guns with his income, but that's neither here or there.
And bump stocks aren't the most
They're not
reliable thing either.
Right, but my only stance on the bump stocks are, and I'm a very, very for the Second Amendment every way of the amendment, and I support it fully to the extent of it. I think it's worth trying if that's going to satisfy some people and make them ease their mind. We could try to ban it, but I think you're still going to see mass shootings go on. You're going to see them be illegally bought. I mean, so many people have the bump stocks now that there's probably private sales
yeah.
that would go on. It's
People
just
can make them.
yeah, exactly. You can't stop it. You just can't. And it's a sad thing to say, and it's not an excuse for finding a solution. I think there possibly could be some solutions out there. We're just not looking hard enough, and I think both parties won't work together to find a solution.
And that's the biggest problem that we're facing right now in
It's
the United
it's
States.
politicized again, and it's sad because people are dying, and it shouldn't be that way.
But the thing is, their lives are put to used as a political standpoint on a lot of things, and that's just like, I'm not going to get into that again, but just like a lot of the people, I mean, if I died, I don't want my name and my death to be used as a pawn for the left or the right, anybody.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, to say we need to get rid of this, we
Yeah.
need to get rid of this because of this,
Yeah.
because of this person, this happened, and that it's wrong of me to use somebody's death as a political.
token.
Yes, exactly. That's a better way to put it.
I think my personal belief, and I'm trying to wrap this up. I just can kind of get this is a passionate topic because I hate innocent lives, especially children being killed.
Mhm.
It's terrible and it needs to be fixed. I think my personal solution or something that would play into preventing these shootings happening is to stop the media coverage from it. I don't know. I can't sadly remember much of the names of the innocent people who died. I remember the person who did the killings because he is the person who did the killings are so politicized.
It's
They're
the main
so
headline.
they're the main. Their pictures plastered everywhere. We all know their name. If you don't say their name, they're not. You have way more copycats because people see, oh, he's famous because of that, and then you encourage those who are wanting to cause harm. They're going to see an outlet that they can become famous
Mhm.
because in their circle of life, they're not noticed. They're looked down upon. They don't have many friends, and so when they see millions of people
Talking about these
about
guys.
them and giving them that attention, I think you need to change that narrative and not mention their name. Call them by their number that they're given when they're given put in the prison or whatever, or just find another
Their
name.
toe tag number.
Yeah, exactly. Or they don't deserve to have their name plastered out there. So I think that causes a lot of copycats, and if you cut that out, I think you might see some better results.
And with that, I think that's a pretty good spot to wrap up so that way we don't go on to 2 hours.
Yes.
And for that's it for episode 2.
Hey, thanks, guys. Go check out our outlets on Instagram, TikTok. We're gonna start up a Snapchat. Check out us out on
Spotify.
YouTube, Spotify,
Anchor.
anywhere you can listen. Go listen to us, support us. We love it and we appreciate it.
And if you don't like our podcast, at least follow our TikTok because it's going to be kind of funny.
Yeah, and you can go meet our Millie. She really wants some new fans.
Yeah,
Go like her.
and YouTube. 'Cause
And YouTube.
The YouTube isn't only going to be podcasts, so
Yes, exactly. We're gonna
do blogs.
do a bunch of things.
Yeah,
We're gonna do some fun videos.
we're going to vlog, and
We might be the next Jeffree Star.
we're going to be influencers.
We're gonna be influencers so we can quit our jobs.
Oh, fuck, please.
Yes.
But anyways,
yes.
thank you guys for watching, and make
We'll see
sure
you
to
next
tune in
time.
for episode 3.
Thanks, guys.